Today, I have the privilege of interviewing author Rebecca Goudreault and her great book entitled Don't Clone a Snowflake. Would you welcome Rebecca to the show? Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, now your book is entitled Don't Clone a Snowflake. So for our viewers, could you just share how you came to that title and what that means to you?
Well, it means that they're all different. Everybody's different, basically. Snowflakes aren't all the same. They're all different, is what the title means. But how I came about it was I was actually going to call it What a Difference You Made in My Life, because he made a huge difference in my life. But it didn't sit right with me. So I prayed about it and I said, okay, God, I dedicate the book to you. If you've got a better name, you name it. I was about 2 days later, I go to church, and right in the middle of the sermon, the pastor says, if any of you out there are looking for a good title for your book, Don't Clone a Snowflake is a good one. And I knew instantly that was the Lord naming the book. And that's how I came about it.
Amazing. Now, the book is about your story with your son, Joey, and his extraordinary life. Can you tell us a little bit more about him and what made him so special?
Well, very special because it seemed like we could always communicate without talking. And the Lord was ever present to it. Like I dedicated him before he was born to the Lord. I dedicated the book to the Lord. I dedicated his life to the Lord. And I prayed before he was even born, whatever you want, this one's yours. Right. And so it was a close relationship to God, the closest I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, and maybe explain some of the unique challenges as a part of your journey and how God really met you in those difficult moments.
Well, most of the time it was like a vision or a dream. They're pretty much the same to me. Where, for example, he always would seem like he was preparing for me that he was going to take him home early. And like one time I was just spending time with him, and he was looking up at the ceiling. I couldn't get his attention no matter what I did. And I said to him, well, William, you're looking at angels up there. And tried to get attention. I thought, that's really weird. And so I bent over and had a conversation. I said, if you die on me, I'm not going to be happy about that. And a tear rolled down his eyes. Then I walk out of the room and something stops me. Go back. Life is short. Spend more time. That's what I did. And those are the kind of experiences I had with him throughout the whole 15 months. So it was a pretty spiritual walk for me, very spiritual journey.
Well,
and many like that.
Yeah, well, that's really powerful because I know that there are many challenges, but there are also many blessings. And I think for those watching right now, all of us who have children know that each of them are unique and different. Some have exceptionalities. And so, yeah, sometimes we're tempted to see the challenges, and there's lots of support around that. But how did you choose to see the blessings? And ultimately, how did those blessings bring you closer to experiencing, faith in Jesus?
Well, I think you got to be positive. There's possibilities. Like if God created an extra chromosome, he created everything. He created every person. So, like who was I to question or counsel God? I had to trust, and I wasn't going to park just because he had Down syndrome and say, God, what did you do? And walk away. On the other hand, he was so close that I just hungered for more of him and wanted to walk with him, and I just continued doing it. God's a God of surprises. I had hope the whole time, and God's a giver of hope. In Romans 5, he talks about Romans 15:5. It is. He talks about hope in a couple of verses that he gives it to us, and I always had hope that he was either going to get better or he was going to get a healing, or hope just was a gift I had the whole time, even through the hard times.
I love that. I love that perspective, and I think that is so encouraging for so many. But of course, you also had to navigate the loss. So can you talk a little bit about what that was like and how you held on to hope even in the face of the tragedy and the loss?
Well, it was really difficult because I had so much hope and faith that he was going to rise out of that hospital bed. And it was hard, long time before I ever got through the grieving steps. But I had friends that supported me, that prayed for me. and it was amazing. But I do remember the real ultimate experience that helped me is just by myself, and I prayed all the time because God was that close. And I said, Lord, so I know He's with you, but I'm His mother, and I did His care for all this time, and I need to know that He's okay, and that's all I want. I know He's with you, and it's okay though. So it was no sooner prayed than done, where I saw the vision, where I saw him walking. He wasn't quite walking yet at 15 months. Come through the door in overhauls with a grin and a smile that lit up the whole room. And the feeling of happiness was so ecstatic that it settled my mind. And I said, he would never have that on earth. And I wouldn't wish him back now, even if I could. So I hope I'm going to see him again, even then.
Well,
So, yeah.
that is so powerful. And thank you for having the courage, the strength to write this amazing book. And I know that for those who are going to pick it up and read it, it'll encourage them. Maybe you're watching this and you have a child with exceptionality, or you're struggling and you need hope in the middle of it. I know that this will be a great resource. Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us today.